Okay. Right. Hello and welcome to today's Talking Cafe Live. Myself, Wendy Rudd, and my colleague Ali Greed. It's been a while since we've actually had the pleasure of talking to you all. And today we have a special treat with, we have Catherine from West Country Credit Union representing the credit unions in Somerset, and she's going to be talking about the wellbeing, financial wellbeing project. And to that end, as usual, I have a little poem that's going to encapsulate what we're going to be talking about today. So the financial wellbeing project, it's new. There's so much that we want to tell you. And listen carefully to these words, I hark. Please do not borrow from a loan shark. If it's help you need, then get in touch. Affordable loans that won't cost much. If we find that we're unable to host, then others who can support will signpost. With employer, you can save from your wages and all online, which will save you ages. To aid towards good financial health and improve upon your financial wealth, financial inclusion is what we're about. So come on, join us without a doubt. And to that end, we are now going to say hello to Catherine. And I'll leave you to do your introduction, Catherine. Lovely to meet you. And let's educate what this new project is.
Thank you very much, Ali. And thank you for inviting me on here today. So my name's Catherine Delve, and I work for West Country Savings and Loans, which is a credit union. We are a not-for-profit, ethical, member-owned organisation. And the Financial Wellbeing Project, although I work for West Country Savings and Loans, is for all the credit unions across Somerset. And we're being sponsored by Somerset County Council to put this project out there and to hopefully get everyone talking about their finances. I'm just going to show you a little introduction video. Sorry, we're having a bit of a technical problem here.
Well, it just goes to print.
Here we go. It's playing now.
Okay, I shall pop that back. Oh, you come off screen. You'll need to re-click it, Catherine.
Technical issue there. There we go.
So it proves we're live.
Yeah. I'm just going to pull it back a little bit so we get
we
to start.
There we go.
There we go.
We have no volume this end. Are you able to hear?
No, there's no sound on this one.
Okay. And that's us back.
So for some people, I know they like to read things and take information in that way. And I know for others, they would rather hear us talk about it. So that was just a very brief overview of the project. The project really is so important at the moment with the cost of living just going up at such an astronomical rate. I think it's affecting everybody. It doesn't matter what your background is or what your financial situation is, it's affecting us all. And Somerset County Council want to promote financial inclusion, encourage people to build financial resilience, and to raise awareness of affordable, ethical financial products and services. We really want to work with community groups out there to provide training to different staff and community organisations that may be helping people and passing that knowledge on. So because it's so important, although I work for West Country Savings and Loans, all 4 credit unions in Somerset are involved in this project. So there is the Somerset Credit Union, that one sort of covers Bridgewater, Taunton area. There's the Mendip Credit Union, which is over towards Glastonbury and the Mendips, as their name says. There's also Great Western Credit Union, and they are actually in Bristol, but just because of historic boundaries, they do overlap into Somerset. And ourselves, West Country Credit Union, and we are based in North Somerset in Portishead, but we do actually can work across Devon, Cornwall and Somerset. So that's a little bit about what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Can I ask, why is financial well-being so important?
That's a great question. So we work with a lot of organisations, people like the Money and Pension Service. We work with Mind. We work with Christians Against Poverty, and we know from research and anecdotal feedback that where people have financial problems and they don't have good financial health, it can lead to lots of issues around the home. It can lead to stress and anxiety and mental health issues, which impact on so many areas of their life. So if we can encourage people, historically, people didn't talk about money. It wasn't something that you shared with other people. People, as us Brits, tend to keep it to ourselves. But we want people to talk about it. We want them to talk about what their worries are, ask for help, and really just start to look at how they can protect themselves by saving money, and where they do need to borrow money, making sure they go to the right people.
So are credit unions regulated like banks?
We are in some ways similar to banks. We are regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. We do have our own regulations as credit unions because we have rules around we can only work with certain a common bond. So for us, that is people who work or live in Devon, Cornwall or Somerset. That's a rule that we're bound by, which means that we're very local. It's Southwest only. We are also covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. So your money is protected by that should you choose to deposit and save money with us.
Okay. And could I become a member of a credit union, and how would I go about doing that?
Absolutely. As long as you live or work in Somerset, which I'm guessing you do, being on here today, or Devon or Cornwall. So all the credit unions have their own websites, and there's a link on our website which takes you to all the others. So if you don't want to be with West Country, if you prefer to be with one of the others, then there's a link on ours. Some of the credit unions, such as the Mendip one and the Somerset one, have outreach posts where you can go and see people. At West Country Savings and Loans, all ours is web-based. The others all have websites that you can open your accounts from as well. So on ours, you will go onto our website, and if you're on your smartphone, you can download an app and you can do it all through the app. If you want to do it from your computer, there are ways to do it from there, but there's always a member of staff on the phone that you can ring at during our open hours, which are on the website, and speak to somebody. So if you get stuck doing it on the app, or you don't feel familiar with finding your way around it, then you can always talk to somebody and they'll talk you through how to do it.
Okay, thank you.
So obviously from that, you're saying some of them are based and others are just online only.
Yes.
So What do people typically borrow the money for? What do you find
Well,
is
all sorts of things. Sometimes we think of, having a loan is a bad thing, but that's not always the case. So we do school uniform loans, for example. And I know, having had two boys myself, that when they go back to school, the list you get from school seems absolutely endless. And you may need to spread the cost of that school uniform purchase over a period of time. Also, when things like the washing machine breaks down, we know all these things always seem to come together, don't they? They always sort of come together, and this needs paying for, that needs paying for. So we can spread those costs over a period of time. So we do loans from £100 upwards, and sometimes people want to borrow for happy things. So they might want to borrow to buy new furniture, they might want to borrow for a wedding, or to buy a new car, and all those things we can accommodate as well. So loans are affordable and ethical. We always make sure that people who have a loan with us can afford to repay it, because the way it works is we're lending our members money. So if you deposit money with us as a member into a savings account, we lend that money out to other people in the community. So we have to make sure that you can repay it, because we're lending our members money at the end of the day. So we're responsible lenders, and we will always go through your income and expenditure with you and make sure that the loan's affordable and ethical.
Okay. Obviously, historically, people who take out loans are obviously scared of the interest rates and the interest rates going up or down or being astronomical. What are your interest rates for the loans?
So they're different depending on how much you borrow. But if you want to, again, just go on our website. There's a calculator on there, so you can put in how much money you want to borrow, how long you want to borrow it over, and it will tell you everything on there. So that before you even apply, you can have a look at it and you can see what it's going to cost you.
Well, if something happens like halfway through your loan period where your circumstances change and maybe you couldn't keep up with the payments that you agreed to keep up with.
You just ring and talk to a member of staff. We've got real people there, and we would rather hear from you. We don't want people to just carry on knowing that they can't make those repayments and worrying about it. As soon as you know your circumstances have changed, or there's been a hiccup in your circumstances, which happens to us all, pick up the phone and talk to a member of staff, and they will talk to you, work out something for your particular circumstances, and talk to you about it. There's sometimes we can't help people, and we do know that. So we've got lots of information on our website for our customers, but for people out there who are not our members, if you're in that circumstance, you're too embarrassed, or you don't want to talk to somebody about it, you can read about it. So go over to the website. There's lots of organizations that can help you, and if we can't help you, and our members, if we can't help them, we will point them in the direction of an organisation that can support them through this difficult time.
So something I noticed when I was looking at the website was employers can get involved with the Financial Wellbeing Project. How does this work?
Absolutely. So employers who have a head office in Devon, Cornwall or Somerset can get in touch with us, and we can set up a salary savings scheme for their employees. So we know, again, that in the workplace, if people have got financial concerns, they get distracted with them, so they can't focus on the job that they're supposed to be doing, and they may end up feeling more stressed and anxious about their financial concerns. So if employers want to set up a salary savings scheme, so we have Christmas savings schemes and just salary savings schemes, and then employers can work with us, and the money will be deducted as soon as that person gets paid, so weekly or monthly, whatever, and it will go into a savings account straight away for them. So people don't have to think about it. People don't have to remember to transfer money or whatever. It is done automatically for them. And a lot of people who do this say once they get used to the fact that money's gone out, they sort of forget about it. And then when they do need it, it's a nice welcome surprise that that money is there. Or if they're saving for Christmas, then they're saving all year for Christmas, which means when Christmas comes, they don't have to dig into just that November salary packet, or that last week in December's wages to try and cover the cost of Christmas. They've spread it throughout the year.
Yeah, that's good. Can they dip into that money? You know, say they save for a couple of months. Can they take the money out when they want
It depends. Sorry, Wendy. It depends on what scheme they set up, but yeah, it's some of them they can depend on what scheme they choose to go with.
Okay, and if you obviously this is quite a big subject, so there are other sort of financial well-being information that you have that you give to your members and.
Absolutely. We're looking at all sorts of things. So we've regularly put out posts on social media. So we've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. And we're looking at sort of any information that will help our members to save money. And we're sharing that across that. We work with lots of organizations to go out and talk to the people who work for them. So we've been working with the food banks. We've been working with the soldiers, sailors, and Air Force, the Armed Forces charity, to get information out that way. We've got information on our website, and we've also are going out to different events. The next big one we've got coming up is the 17th and 18th of September. We will be at Somerset County Show, and passing out information that way. So we're just trying to get as much information out there as possible to help people. There's lots of money saving tips that come from some of the energy companies, and lots of other organizations that we're sharing.
Right. So, I mean, you've covered so much. It's sort of, as you say, you've covered the events, you've got the Facebook, you've got the websites, and it's, as you say, getting the word out. So how are charities and community groups becoming more involved with you? What is it they're doing to support you?
Well, we'd love to hear from more of them. So we are contacting them, and we're doing sort of meetings, online Teams meetings with maybe their volunteers. We're working with Great Western Credit Union in terms of training packages that we can which we can deliver to people that support the community. So if people struggle, and we've heard from some organizations whereby people open up to them because they've come in maybe to a food bank, and they've opened up to them about their financial worries, and the volunteers there don't know how to deal with that, or don't know where to point them in the right direction. And we're not talking about, sitting down and doing specific advice for them, because that's a regulated area, but just general information. So we're happy to work with community groups and organizations to be able to give their staff information that they can then pass on. So, the more that want help and support, please get in touch with me. My email address is on our website, and it's just up there in the comments. Actually, I've noticed you've put it up, which is great. So my email address is up there. We have another member of staff who deals with North Somerset, but I can put you in touch with there. I'm just looking after Somerset. Our website is on there, so again, people can pop over there, and my email address is on our website. But yeah, absolutely, any community group or organizations out there, that would be wonderful.
So like ourselves, really, very much so, the village and community agents and all the different agents that are around Somerset. It's being aware of yourself, familiarising, getting to know. So maybe even come to one of our team meetings and let us nibble at you with all of our questions that guaranteed you'd be getting from us. So that would be
absolutely, that would be great. And I'm sending out, I'm emailing, doctors, surgeries, community hubs, local authority buildings, anybody who's happy to put up a poster or a flyer. I've been sending those out in the post, or a digital version to go on community Facebook groups and groups like yourself. Anybody who's got a Facebook page that can be shared around the community, I can send them a digital flyer to go up, which will point them in the right direction. So just sharing information and getting it out there, really.
Yeah. And because we are live, obviously, if anybody has any questions, do write in the comments box, and Catherine will respond to you here and now. But if they're watching this later on, We do monitor the comment boxes. So if you have questions and you would rather do it through this way in the interim, do feel free to put a comment. Thumbs up if you like the information you're receiving and if you found it really useful. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else that
I just think if you were, say someone was struggling financially, but they weren't ready to maybe commit to having a loan, are there any tips and advice you could give those?
Well, one of the key things that I think if people can start to save. Now, I know that feels like a really difficult thing at the moment because people are saying, I can't afford to feed my family, let alone save some money. But as government help has gone out to 8 million households who qualify, they've already received one payment of £326, and there will be another payment in the autumn. We don't have a date yet. But if some of that money could be saved, maybe think about the fact that could be split into 3 to cover you over the next 3 months until potentially we get a date for the second payment, and save 2/3 of that money into a savings account, so that might pay for the school uniform. It might pay for an event which you don't know has happened yet. It might be that you have something that's going to occur in the next couple of months that you are going to need some money for. So saving is a great thing if you can do that. Also, just writing down your income and expenditure is a great thing. So look back over your bank statements and see, well, this is how much I spent last month. This is how much I receive. And is there anything that I can do to, help that situation? So just keeping a record, write down what you spend, because I know I do it the same myself. You go out and because you've got your card there, you've bought this, you've bought that, and you come home at the end of the day, write down how much you've spent so that you can see if there is any allowance. Some people as well maybe do overtime one week, and so they'll earn a little bit more that week. Can they save that bit extra that they've earned so that that's then there to call on it another week when maybe that they don't earn as much? We've got obviously the winter fuel coming, and for some people, they'll really need to think about that. Obviously, during the summer, we don't put our lights on, our heating on. Maybe we don't have need as much hot water. So we've still got that to look to in the winter. And if we can put some money aside now to help to cover those winter fuel bills, then that would be a great thing to do. But if people are concerned about I know you had GAM Care on here last week talking about that. So, that was another organisation we work closely with. We work with the illegal money lending team. But just think about looking at organisations that could help you. Don't sit there and worry about it. The sooner you find somebody who you can sit down and talk to about it, if you have got difficulties, then as they say, a problem shared is a problem halved, isn't it? So sit down and talk to people who know and can help you rather than sitting at home and worrying about it.
Okay, and it sounds like sort of to plan when your money's coming in and sort of say look at saving even a little bit, because I think it's been quite difficult since COVID in terms of a lot of shops will only take a credit card, whereas I think some people were used to taking out a set amount of money at the beginning of the week, and that was their money for the week. But now, obviously, shops aren't taking cash as much, are they?
No.
And some still aren't, I think. And so then again, it's easy, isn't it, just to wave your card over the machine?
And those little tiny amounts.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, because if you're doing £4.95, £3.75,
adds up
in the head, you don't sort of tend to add them up at all, and then all of a sudden, £30 has gone out of the account, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know you've got a lot of options now not to take a receipt. And I understand that obviously from a shop's point of view, not using the paper, but if it helps you, take the receipt, put them all together in your purse, and then when you get, or your wallet, and then when you get home, sit down and you can see how much you've spent that day. So, that's another way of doing it. Or, again, most people have mobile phones these days. There's apps on your phone which will help you to track how much you've spent every day. So, just put it in there and just keep a reminder.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't need to be a big elaborate thing. You just note it down on a piece of paper, can't you, or a notebook?
Absolutely.
Or something.
Little notebook in your pocket, if that helps. Yeah, whatever works for you. You just find a system that works for you.
So, is there anything you think we've missed out or forgotten at all?
No, I just think that it's often people, I don't like to use the term, but do bury their head in the sand and think, I'll worry about that next week. I'll worry about that when the kids go back to school. I'll worry about that. Eh, we do need to get a handle on it. People do need to sit down. And I know it's scary if you've got a pile of bills or you've got to a point where you don't know where to start, but just small steps. Just do one thing this week. Just think, right, this week I could sit down and write down my income and expenditure, or I could look at to see whether I'm eligible to receive the money from the government. There's another payment coming out to help people with their heating bills, and that's due out fairly shortly. So again, have a look at how you can get that. Depending on how you pay your heating bills will depend on how you're going to receive that help. So there's lots of information on the internet, lots of information that we've put out. Just have a look at how you're going to get that money and how that can help you. Do you have to fill in something to get the money in some cases, or for some people it will come automatically back through their heating bills, but again depends on your circumstances. So have a look at all the things that are available to you and when they're going to come into you're going to get them into your account, or when you're going to get them off your heating bills, and make sure that's going to happen, and make sure you get that money, because some people don't actually ever look at their bank account at all. They only look at the balance rather than the actual transactions. And all the banks now have got apps on mobile phones, so you can see what you've spent in the last week. Lots of them have also got little tools that will help you with your budgeting and spending, and how your money is broken down, and what areas you're spending it in. And open a savings account. Make that your mission today. Open a savings account, and even if you can only put £5 in it, that's a starting point.
Yeah.
That's really good advice, isn't it?
Really good advice.
Because I think people think £5 isn't probably much to save, but like you say, over the weeks that'll add up, won't it? And it gets you in that habit then, I guess, of saving, and then maybe you can add a little bit more and realise.
And I think people find that once you do start to save, it becomes in a way sort of addictive, because you can see it growing, and that satisfaction of having the money to be able to pay for something, you then end up putting a little bit more in and a little bit more in. Even with the grandchildren, I've seen it when they've suddenly realised, wow, I've got all of this. I've got up to £50. I now want to get £100 in there. So, as you say, once you get the money sense, it does escalate itself, doesn't it, in one way?
Absolutely. And maybe a plan is for a particular event, so a child's birthday or something like that, and you think when those are going to happen every year, and so you think, oh, my child's birthday is in October. If I start saving some money now, then I will have money to treat them on their birthday. Or we all know that Christmas, sadly I'm talking about it already in August, but it is a thing, and we all know that we want to spend time with our families, and we may not want to spend a lot of money on presents and things, but we do always like to have a meal or a gathering with our families. And so it's great if we can start putting some money aside now to cover the additional expense of maybe the Christmas meal or something like that you want to have on Christmas Day. So I think the saving is a great thing, and the other message really is just there are people out there who can help you. There's lots of organizations that we work with who can sit down and go through things with you, and please don't just sit there worrying about it. I think that's our main message, is don't sit there worrying about it. If you don't know where to start, ask for help. And I know your village agents and your talking cafes are great places, because they will tell people where to go for help and make sure that they find help from the right places.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's important, isn't it? I think, sometimes you can Google the internet looking for support and things, and that's too overwhelming, and you might just jump in and get advice from the wrong people. So giving them
and then of course you've also got the worries of the scam sites as well. How do you know they're reputable? So yes, as you say, recommendation from people that are out there to support you is always a good way if you're unsure.
Totally. And did you say you had an event coming up? Could you just refresh us of the dates and the times of that event?
Yeah, so the 17th and 18th of September is the Somerset County Show, and we will be there. I think that is a weekend. I won't be there actually because I'm on holiday, but my colleagues will be there, and they will be there all day, 17th and 18th of September. Not sure where our stand will be yet, but we'll be putting that information on our website and all the events that we have coming up. We've done a few over the summer. We've got on the 3rd of September, we will be at Strode Leisure Centre, which is in North Somerset. And, we've got more events coming up in the autumn. So go over to our website and have a look where we're going to be next. And it's on our social media. So, just follow us on social media and then you can keep up with what's going on. Or we've got blogs and help on our website.
That's lovely. So that about wraps up today's recording, as it were. We'd just like to say thank you so much for the useful information and advice, especially the lots of money tips.
It's been good.
It's been very good. We do have a like, so that's always good to know that somebody is watching us. And look forward to the next time, because I'm sure when your next project hits, you're going to know to come to us straight away next time.
Oh, we will do. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye.
So that just leaves Ali and myself to say thank you for watching. And I think we're next up in December, 7th of December at Christmas. So we're looking forward to that one. Have a good day and we will see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.